Welcome to Hump Day Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Your Day with the Podcast brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, don't face it alone. Get an experienced local Wyoming attorney on your side. Free consultations at WyomingAdvocates.com or call 307-800-1952. You deserve an advocate. Well, Pacific waves are going to start to make an impression on the weather. It'll still be mild today, but windy areas are going to be developing as not one, but two fast-moving Pacific waves will come off the Pacific Northwest coast through southern Canada, then clipping parts of the northern Rockies, the northern plains, and parts of the far central northern Rockies areas. This is going to produce some mountain snow, especially Wyoming's western mountains, the mountains of Idaho, Montana, and Washington, Oregon, and the northern Sierras. Little bit of snow in far northern Colorado's mountains as well. So it's going to be colder for the weekend. We're going to enjoy still some pretty mild temperatures here for the next couple of days, but getting colder, and the wind is not going to be fun. The winds are going to be a nuisance, really beginning later today and continuing into the plains on Saturday. Now, good weather does return. For a good chunk of next week, the weather looks good again before we see that change in the weather right at the middle of the month, which is going to be around the following weekend after this one. A lot of great photos coming in, especially of the moon. We've got lenticulars in Utah. We've got the iridescence from the moon from clouds last night, and the moon just put on a show, no matter where you were, with it being low on the horizon in the late afternoon and evening hours. Just that moon glow with the clouds. Just beautiful shots here. Just talk about classic autumn scenes across the Rockies and the western high plains. Those clouds with the moon really was a neat feature last night. And that moon so bright, looked like the sun was out. There's a nice shot of the lenticular clouds with the moon. Great detail there from Fountain, Colorado. And all across the Intermountain West and the western high plains, we have that combination of the moon and a lot of good-looking clouds, those lenticulars, and a lot of features like that are going to be available again tonight in many areas. And this is fire sky season, so a lot of fire sky sunrises and sunsets across the region. Another shot of kind of the severe clear weather that we're in right now. Great shot there of lenticulars east of Laramie Peak along the Laramie Range. That Laramie Peak will produce lenticular clouds a lot of times during this time of year. As we take a look at what's coming, though, from the Pacific here in a moment, you're going to see that the opportunity for these high and mid-level clouds will continue as we have a lot of cloudiness coming in from the Pacific Northwest. We just have a lot of low pressure. It looks pretty mean, and it certainly will be stormy for British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest down into the northern parts of California. But you can see that there's a large area here of high pressure, and this weather is just kind of going up and around it, kind of attacking the high pressure a little bit. And that's what the first wave will do tomorrow, kind of beat down the high pressure, making it a little bit easier for the next wave to come in. So this is where we are today. There's that area of low pressure and the clouds that you're seeing, and that's going to bring weather in the Pacific Northwest, but it's hitting this ridge. So this is going to weaken and go up over and around like this, and that's where it's going to be by noon tomorrow. So around noon tomorrow, we have that wave coming through. Winds aloft are perpendicular to the Continental Divide. That's going to get the wind going. But there's not a lot to this system. It's going to weaken as it's getting underneath this high pressure ridge, but it's going to start to weaken the high pressure ridge. These little Pacific waves don't look like much, but they're going to initiate a bigger change in the weather pattern for this part of the country, as you'll see here in a moment. This is where we are Friday night. So tomorrow noon, then Friday night, this wave right here takes a dive and moves very quickly in, and you'll see northwest winds aloft. This is why on the back side of the system, it's going to be much colder. We have high pressure retreating to the west coast and going here. So you can see there's a little bit of an adjustment going on in the way the pattern is from here to here. Notice a deep cold low is going to form over southern Hudson Bay. This system coming in is going to amplify this. So that's going to get things started, getting more interesting weather going across the nation. But you can see the tight gradient there. This is why Friday into Saturday is going to be very windy, but it's also going to pull in colder air. And there's also a good amount of Pacific moisture. This is the cumulative forecast of wind gusts from today through Saturday. So you can see the wind-prone areas of Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado, down into northern New Mexico, then out into the plains. So it's been really nice, but it's just not going to be yucky. It's a good way to describe the weather Friday and Saturday for a lot of you as these Pacific waves come in. Now down here, there's going to be some wind, but not a lot going on. You can see where the weather's going to be along the path of these Pacific troughs. Yes, we'll have precipitation, nothing really heavy in the Intermountain West, but there's going to be a pretty good shot of snow here in Wyoming's northwestern and western mountains, from the Wind Rivers to the Wyoming Range to the Tetons and Yellowstone Park. You can see how much of an effect those cascades have. The winds are upslope into the coastal ranges, downslope east of the coastal ranges. So you just don't have a lot of moisture that can get over those mountains, but you do have some. So there will be some good mountain snow here. Snow is going to fall up here in southern Canada from overrunning, the cold air being overrun by Pacific moisture. And some of that leaks down here into the plains, as we'll show you here in a minute. But we will get precipitation as far south as the southern mountains of Wyoming and northern Colorado, mainly with the second wave. A little bit with the first wave, but the second wave Friday night and the Saturday. Now, for you folks along the I-70 corridor here, nothing going on. You're just going to be happy with some really good looking weather down there. It's all going to be up north where the wind and the colder weather is going to be. So through Saturday evening, that's where the snowfall potential is going to go. So getting a lot colder in the Dakotas, eastern Montana, and you can see that there's going to be a shot of colder air coming on in. With the air coming in behind this front, look at the cold air backed up against the divide. So it is going to be a chilly day Sunday, and this will bleed over into Monday, but look at the contrast from one side of the divide to the other. So that's where the first real winter shot is going to go this fall. The first, I would say, bona fide shot of winter-like weather gets directed east of the divide and into the plains. And you can see that. Look at these temperature anomalies by Monday. By Monday, we've got the heart of the southeastern United States with a significant wave of cold. So you can see the situation here is the central and the east, very chilly, a shot of winter. If you're in the western United States, you're going, what winter? There's no winter coming. But down here, they're going to get the first taste of it. So the first salvo of a winter pattern heads into this part of the country. Look at these temperatures. Now, take this with a grain of salt, but these are the forecasted low temperatures by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. It shows the panhandle of Florida getting to freezing. We'll see if that happens, but look at Georgia. Look at the Carolinas here. This is a bona fide, pretty significant shot of cold. This is early, this type of cold, for that part of the country for sure. But if you're in the western United States, you're just going, well, I guess we're never going to have any cold weather this month. But we just have to exercise some patience. You can see the cold weather bringing the snow and the wintry conditions to the Great Lakes and the Northeast. This is through Tuesday of next week. However, as I mentioned, a good part of the following week is going to be good. Why? We have another high pressure building right in. So we go back to Pacific flow again after this storm does its damage in the eastern United States early to the middle parts of next week. What we'll see is this system coming in with this high pressure building in across the Gulf of Alaska behind it. We've got to have high pressure up here to get any cold wintry weather here. And what we'll see is that as this low begins to move along the coast, this high pressure will begin to expand. But it's going to be a process. It's going to take 7-10 days before that really gets going. And this is by the weekend of the 16th, the 15th, and the 16th. We're going to have a low come towards the Four Corners, and then we're starting to see that high pressure ridge wanting to start getting itself more established. There's another wave behind it. There's another wave that will likely go up over and behind it as well. So the wintry weather, if you're looking for it, while you're going to have some not nice weather Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and it will get colder and it will get windy, we will see a little bit of snow in the mountains, we still don't have that shot of colder weather that's going to stick, at least here for another week or so. If we take a look at the European model, the AI version, it's matching up pretty well with the GFS model. There's some pretty good coordination between the models, kind of saying the same thing as we get into the weekend of the 15th and the 16th. Have yourself a good Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.